YouTube, this is some guy on the internet named Veteran0121 about to try something different, about to try some political commentary. I don't agree with the speech here in a lot of ways. I agree with some of it, but not all of it. In fact, I have very mixed feelings about it. Let's get right into it right now.
Thank you. I would like to thank King Solomon for his extraordinary words and the magnificent kingdom of Saudi Arabia for hosting today's summit.
Magnificent Kingdom? I wouldn't say that, man. I'd say Saudi Arabia is like the biggest piece of shit country in the world, but continue. And words don't really mean shit, to be honest. Words are words.
I am honored to be received by such gracious hosts.
Whatever.
I have always heard about the splendor of your country.
You have? I guess he hasn't heard about the bad things because the fucking mainstream media doesn't talk anything bad about Saudi Arabia. They don't say shit about Saudi Arabia. All the bullshit that goes on there, but continue.
And the kindness of your citizens. But words do not do justice to the grandeur of this remarkable place and
Whatever.
the incredible hospitality you have shown us from the moment we arrived.
Whatever.
You also hosted me in the treasured home.
Why don't they show the same fucking hospitality to their own people then? If they can do that to a foreign state uh, head, then why can't they? Why can't they show that same fucking compassion and fucking understanding for their own people? Why can't they do that?
Of King Abdul Aziz, the founder of the kingdom, who united your great people, working alongside of another beloved leader, American President Franklin Roosevelt. King
Another overrated president.
Abdul Aziz began the enduring partnership between our two countries. King Solomon, your father.
Yeah, there's people that are saying that FDR was a good president. You're fucking crazy. FDR was not a good president. You know why FDR looked like a good president? Because you had world leaders at the time like Hitler and Stalin. That's why FDR looked like a good guy. FDR was not a good guy. He fucking stole gold from people. Like he would confiscate wealth, like just ridiculous. Yeah, don't even get me started on FDR, man. That guy was not a good president. He was a piece of shit.
Would be very, very proud to see that you are continuing his legacy. And just as he opened the first chapter of our partnership, today we begin a new chapter that will bring lasting benefits to all of our citizens. Let me now also extend my deep and heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of the distinguished heads of state who made this journey here today.
Whatever. I'm sure nobody's immune to flattery, and I'm sure these people are enjoying the nice ass licking they're getting right now from our president. But whatever. Continue.
You greatly honor us with your presence, and I send the warmest regards from my country to yours. Thank you. I know
As long as you keep your people in line and keep them in your countries. Till that stops, we're gonna fucking hate you.
that our time together will bring.
Although it is partly our fault. I mean, those fucking the past presidents we had, like Bush especially, like sending troops over there to destabilize the region, these proxy wars and stuff. I mean, that was a complete utter fucking waste of time and made shit worse in the long run. That shit doesn't work. We go in, we fuck shit up, we fucking leave, and then there's a power vacuum, and then the power vacuum is basically taken up by the terrorists, and the terrorists, they take up all the resources. That's what happened. That's how ISIS was formed. going in there and fucking, fighting for these people and destabilizing the region, yes, that shit does not fucking work. I wasted 2 years of my fucking life in Iraq for basically nothing because it's worse over there now than it was before we got there, before we did anything. So yeah, complete waste of fucking time. I sweat my ass off for 2 years for nothing, basically.
Bring many blessings to both your people and to mine. I stand before you as a representative of the American people to deliver.
Although I can say that at least I didn't get killed. So I got to be at least thankful for that. And I got all 10 fingers and all 10 toes. And as far as I know, I don't have any diseases from being over there. I don't know. Maybe in 10 years' time. I keep hearing about Agent Orange type shit, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen with us, thankfully.
Deliver a message of friendship and hope and love. That is why I chose to make my first foreign visit a trip to the heart of the Muslim world.
Yeah, the biggest problem in the world is the fucking Muslim world.
To the nation that
Anybody that isn't Muslim, who isn't fucking naive and stupid as shit likes these fuckers. Everybody hates these assholes, alright? These assholes need to stay on their side of the fence, their side of the pond, whatever fucking analogy you want to throw out there.
that serves as custodian of the two holiest sites in the Islamic faith.
Fuck the Islamic
In my
faith.
inaugural address to the American people,
In fact, fuck all religions, to be honest.
I pledge to strengthen America's oldest friendships and to build new partnerships in pursuit of peace. I also promise that America will not seek to impose our way of life on others.
That's what we're doing right now. We're trying to say that, hey, your culture sucks, the way you treat your people sucks, you need to do better, you need to reform your shit. That's what we are doing right now. So yeah, what he's saying right now is completely contradictory to what's going on.
But to outstretch our hands in the spirit of cooperation and trust. Our vision is one of peace, security, and prosperity in this region and all throughout the world.
Yeah, well, they don't care about that kind of stuff. They don't want peace. The only time they want peace is if you believe what they believe, and if you don't, then there's violence and war and suffering. Their book teaches them this kind of stuff.
Our goal is a coalition of nations who share the aim of stamping out extremism and providing our children a hopeful future that does honor to God.
Which God? The Christian God or the Muslim God or the Jewish God, or what God is he talking about?
And so, this historic and unprecedented gathering of leaders, unique in the history of nations, is a symbol to the world of our shared resolve and our mutual respect. To the leaders and citizens of every country assembled here today, I want you to know that the United States is eager to form closer bonds of friendship, security, culture, and commerce. For Americans, this is a very exciting time.
It's a very worrying time because, in case you didn't know, I mean, they did sign like an arms deal to basically sell a whole bunch of arms to Saudi Arabia to bolster defenses. The problem with that is didn't Obama do the same thing, and didn't these weapons somehow find its ways in the hands of terrorists? I mean, we left a whole bunch of shit behind in Iraq that the terrorists commandeered and used for their terrorist activities. So giving the state more weapons, I don't see how that's going to help. It'll help our economy, sort of. It'll give us like $110 billion, whatever arbitrary number that we agreed to. But I don't see how giving these fuckers advanced weaponry, or more advanced than what they already have, is going to help things. I really don't. I don't see how that's going to help. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe this works for a change, but it didn't work with Obama. I don't think it's going to work here.
A new spirit of optimism is sweeping our country. In just a few months, we have created almost 1 million new jobs, added over $3 trillion in new value, lifted the burdens on American industry, and made record investments in our military that will protect the safety of our people and enhance the security of our wonderful friends and allies.
Okay, well, I'm all about for, strengthening our defense, but strengthening their defense, I'm not for that. Considering that our ideologies are like oil and water and they don't mix, I don't see how we can possibly get along with these people, but whatever, continue.
Many of whom are here today. Now, there is even more blessed news that I am pleased to share with you. My meetings with King Solomon, the Crown Prince.
Maybe I shouldn't say Western culture is an ideology. It's just a culture. It's not really an ideology. Yeah, there are ideologies within our culture, like, the religions that a lot of people prescribe to or whatever, but generally our way of life, our culture is better quality of life for more citizens than there are over there in the Middle East. Period. Women get treated like cattle over in the Middle East. I know the news media never talks about it. The crap news network, CNN, always broadcasting crap ABC. They never talk about the shit that goes on in the Middle East. They never talk. The only thing they're worried about is destroying our president. Period. They don't talk about any of the good stuff he does, and right here I'm conflicted on whether any of this shit is good. I think it's bad actually,
And the Deputy Crown Prince
most of it,
have been filled with great warmth,
because you're placing the trust on these assholes that believe in just complete backwards fucking bullshit.
goodwill, and tremendous cooperation. Yesterday, we signed historic agreements with the kingdom that will invest almost $400 billion in our two countries and create many hundreds of thousands of jobs in America and Saudi Arabia. This landmark agreement includes the announcement of a $110 billion Saudi-funded defense purchase, and we will be sure to help our Saudi friends to get a good deal from our great American defense companies, the greatest anywhere in the world. This agreement will help the Saudi military to take a far greater role in security and operations having to do with security. We have also started discussions with many of the countries present today.
I see. I don't fucking agree with this, man. I do not fucking agree with this. I'm trying to think of a good analogy, but
On
I don't know.
strengthening partnerships and forming new ones to advance security and stability across the Middle East and far beyond. Later today, we will make history again with the opening of the new Global Center for Combating Extremist Ideology, located right here in this central part of the Islamic world.
Again, I don't understand how that's going to help. I really don't, but whatever, continue.
This groundbreaking new center represents a clear declaration that Muslim majority countries must take the lead in combating radicalization, and I want to express our gratitude to King Solomon for his strong demonstration and his absolutely incredible and powerful leadership.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Whatever, man.
I have had the
His country is a fucking shithole, all right?
pleasure of welcoming several of the leaders present today to the White House, and I look forward to working with all of you. America is a sovereign nation, And our first priority is always the safety and security of our citizens. We are not here to lecture.
But we're doing it anyways.
We are not here to tell other people how to live.
Yes, we are. We're telling them that their country's fucked up and they need to combat terrorism better. So yes, we are kind of telling them how to live.
What to do,
Yeah, we're telling them how to do that too.
who to be, or how to worship.
Okay, we're not telling them how to do that, I guess.
Instead, we are here to offer partnership based on shared interests and values.
Wait a minute, we don't have shared interests and values with them, do we? What shared interests and values do the Western world and the Islamic world have? Please, somebody in the comments section enlighten me as to the common values that our two cultures share, because the way I see it, the two cultures are completely incompatible. You look at countries like Sweden, France, Germany, you have Islamic ghettos, okay, where nobody goes. They're basically considered no-go zones because culturally the people can't live together because mainly the Islamic faith, those people are intolerant of other cultures. And a lot of us are intolerant of them. It's completely fucking incompatible. They don't mix. It's like I said, it's like oil and water.
To pursue a better future for all of us. Here at this summit, we will discuss many interests that we share together. But above all, we must be united in pursuing the one goal that transcends every other consideration. That goal is to meet history's great test, to conquer extremism and vanquish the forces that terrorism brings with it every single time.
Yeah, well, if these people over there, if they really wanted to abolish, terrorism, then they would have abolished the Muslim religion a long time ago. But that's not what they did. They haven't reformed it. They pretty much read it and take everything in there as okay, this is it. This is what you have to do to go to heaven or whatever it is to see Allah and get their 47 virgins or whatever it is. So yeah, bullshit, just
Young
fucking
Muslim
bullshit.
boys and girls should be able to grow up free from fear.
Yeah, they should be able to grow up in a culture that doesn't tell you that you need to go kill somebody if they don't believe in the same fucking shit that they believe in. Basically, that's what the kind of world they need to grow up in.
Safe from violence, and innocent of hatred. When young Muslim men and women should have the chance to build a new era of prosperity for themselves.
Oh, and they should have the freedom to not prescribe to any religion whatsoever as well. They should have the right to say, no, I don't want any part of that and not be persecuted for it.
It has to be done
But
and
I
we
highly
have to
doubt that
let
that's going to
them do it.
happen.
With God's help, this summit will mark the beginning of the end for those who practice terror and spread its vile creed. At the same time, we pray this special gathering may someday be remembered as the beginning of peace in the Middle East and maybe even all over the world. But this future can only be achieved through defeating terrorism and the ideology that drives it.
Which is the Muslim religion. It's the fucking Muslim religion that needs to be eradicated or reformed. Not the terrorists themselves. It's the religion itself. The book itself. The book teaches them to do this stuff. They read it in a book, they feel justified, they go out and commit bad things or crimes or whatever the hell you want to call it. The root of the problem is the religion itself, not the bad guys using it as a tool. I mean, obviously, yeah, they use it as a tool or a justification, but
Few nations have been
A little tongue
spared
tied.
the violent reach of terrorism. America has suffered repeated barbaric attacks, from the atrocities of September 11th to the devastation of the Boston
Yeah, which the Saudis probably funded, by the way.
bombings, to the horrible killings in San Bernardino and Orlando.
Yeah, well,
The
these
nations of
people shouldn't be
Europe
allowed in our country.
have also endured unspeakable horror.
Yeah, that's another thing too. These people should not be allowed in our country. Period. I mean, I don't know. That's just my take. I don't think any fuckers from the Middle East should be allowed in our country. You can call me a racist or a fucking Islamophobe if you want. You know, throw whatever label you want to throw out there. I don't give a shit, man. We don't want these fucking people in our country. The majority of the people do not want these fucking people in our country. The only people that sit there and say, "Oh, it's okay," are the virtue signaling uh, SJW twats in Hollywood, and probably, well, I guess I want to say half our fucking country now, because half our country is stupid enough to listen to these twats in Hollywood and in the fucking Democratic Party.
So too have the nations of Africa and South America, India, Russia, China, and Australia.
Oh yeah, India, in their culture, it's okay to like publicly shit in public. So, is that a good thing? Does that make their culture equal to ours? No, it doesn't. Multiculturalism does not work. There are cultures on this earth that are better than others. And right now, Western culture is the best culture in the world. Period.
Have all been victims.
Is it perfect? No, but it's the best one out there.
But in sheer numbers, the deadliest toll has been exacted on the innocent people of Arab, Muslim, and Middle Eastern nations. They have borne the brunt of the killings and the worst of the destruction in this wave of fanatical violence.
Yeah, and the problem is that the fucking governments of these states don't do anything to quell it. And a lot of it is because they rightfully don't give a shit. They just don't give a shit.
Some estimates hold
The problem with the culture is the culture itself.
that more than 95% of the victims of terrorism are themselves Muslim. We now face a humanitarian and security disaster in this region that is spreading across the planet. It is a tragedy of epic proportions. No description of the suffering and depravity can begin to capture its full measure. The true control of ISIS, if you look at what's happening, Al Qaeda, Hezbollah, Hamas, and so many others, must be counted not only in the number of dead, it also must be counted in generations of vanished dreams. The Middle East is rich with natural beauty,
And natural oil.
vibrant cultures, and massive amounts of historic treasures. It should increasingly become
Treasures? What the fuck does the Middle East have besides oil that we could possibly want? Just saying. I don't know. I've been to Iraq. I've been to Kuwait. They're fucking shitholes. I'm sure Saudi is not that much different.
one of the great global centers of commerce and opportunity. This region should not be a place from which refugees flee, but to which newcomers flock. Saudi
To which newcomers flock? Nobody's gonna flock to your shitty. Nobody's gonna flock to these shitty ass deserts, man. They're fucking hot. They're nasty. They're not nice places. The people there are crazy for a reason. These fucking areas, the only people that are truly happy in these fucking countries are the people in power that have all the wealth, that can afford to live in these luxurious palaces. Those are the only people that are happy. The rest of the people are fucking miserable, sweating their asses off every fucking day.
Arabia is home to the holiest sites in one of the world's great faiths.
Bullshit. bullshit. The world, none of these faiths are great. They're complete fucking bullshit. And Islam leads the fucking way in the bullshit category. Continue.
Each year, millions of Muslims come
I know he's kissing ass here, but I'm telling the truth here. I'm filtering out the bullshit.
from around the world to Saudi Arabia to take part in the Hajj. In addition to ancient wonders, this country is also home to modern ones, including soaring achievements in architecture. Egypt was a thriving center of learning and achievement thousands of years
Before the Islamic faith. Yeah, the Islamic faith did not exist when the Egyptians were building the pyramids. I think the Islamic faith, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, has only been around for a couple thousand years. So, whatever. It's irrelevant. It's fucking completely irrelevant what he's
before
talking about.
other parts of the world. The wonders of Giza, Luxor, and Alexandria are proud monuments to that ancient heritage. All over the world, people
And yeah, now Islam is like a cancer that's spreading all over the region, and it's turning these places into more shitholes than they already were to begin with.
dream of walking through the ruins of Petra in Jordan. Iraq was the cradle of civilization.
Whatever the hell that means. I don't understand this whole thing when they talk about the cradle of civilization. What the hell are you talking about? The cradle of civilization. The world. I mean, I guess maybe if you're talking if the world has only been around for a couple thousand years, maybe. But the world. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but the world has been around for billions of years. Just saying.
And is a land of natural beauty. And the United Arab Emirates has reached incredible heights with glass and steel and turned earth and water into spectacular works of art. The entire region is at the center of the key shipping lanes of the Suez Canal, the Red Sea, and the Straits of Hormuz. The potential of this region has never, ever been greater.
Whatever.
65% of its population is under the age of 30. Like all young men and women, they seek great futures to build, great national projects to join, and a place for their families to call home. But this
Yes, which means we need to stop destabilizing these countries. So we got all these fuckers spilling in from other countries to places where they don't belong and they can't assimilate.
untapped potential, this tremendous cause of optimism, is held at bay by bloodshed and terror.
Which again brings us back to the fucking religious ideology of Islam to begin with. The only way it's ever going to get better is to get rid of the stupid fucking ideology and the fucking theocracy that the government is run under.
There can be
Theocracies do not work, especially if they're Islamic theocracies.
no coexistence with this violence. There can be no tolerating it, no accepting it, no excusing it, and no ignoring it. Every
But they have been for thousands of years. So why all of a sudden are they going to give a shit now? They aren't going to give a shit now.
time a terrorist murders an innocent person and falsely invokes the name of God, it should be an insult to every person of faith. Terrorists do not worship God, they worship death.
Right. Well, they're just doing what their book is telling them to do. I mean, their book is telling them if whoever it is doesn't believe in Allah, then they need to be put to the sword. They're doing exactly that's. It's not bringing them shame. These people actually believe that what they're doing is right, and it's gonna give them some ticket to heaven where they're gonna have like 47 virgins or whatever fucking arbitrary number that they put down for that kind of bullshit. It's a trick. It's fucking bullshit.
If we do not act against this organized terror, then we know what will happen and what will be the end result. Terrorism's devastation of life will continue to spread. Peaceful societies will become engulfed by violence, and the futures of many generations will be sadly squandered. If we do not stand in uniform condemnation of this killing, then not only will we be judged by our people, not only will we be judged by history, but we will be judged by God.
Uh, okay, that doesn't mean shit to those of us that don't believe in that kind of stuff, but whatever.
This is not a battle between different faiths.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. See, this is where, I agree with a lot of stuff that Trump says, but on this front, he's absolutely clueless. He has no idea what he's saying. Or if he does know what he's a good liar then if he doesn't actually believe what he's saying right now.
Different sects or different civilizations. This is a battle between barbaric criminals who seek to obliterate human life and decent people.
This is a battle between religions and people that don't prescribe to any religion. That's what this is a battle of. With the Muslim faith, if you don't believe in their shit, then you're an infidel. With the Christians, if you don't, it's the same way. It's opposite. And then anybody that doesn't prescribe to any religion at all, period, they're caught in the middle of it, basically. So yes, it is a battle between religions.
All in the
In fact, most wars are battles, of religions. Most wars have happened because of fucking religion. It's basically a tool that politicians use to inspire people to their cause. I mean, it's a trick. It's all fucking tricks.
name of religion. People that want to protect life and want to protect their religion. This is a battle between good and evil. When we see the scenes of destruction in the wake of terror, we see no signs that those murdered were Jewish or Christian, Shia or Sunni. When we look upon the strains of innocent blood soaked into the ancient ground, we cannot see the faith or sect or tribe of the victims. We see only that they were children of God whose deaths are an insult to all that is holy.
Which God and how is that an insult when the book is saying that it's okay for you to do this kind of stuff if they don't capitulate? Again, this is complete bullshit.
But we can only overcome this evil if the forces of good are united and strong, and if everyone in this room does their fair share and fulfills their part of the burden. Terrorism has spread all across the world, but the path to peace begins right here.
Yeah, and the reason why it has is because of retarded ass politicians making retarded ass fucking immigration policies.
On this ancient soil, in this sacred land.
There's nothing sacred about their land, okay? Nothing. It's just a bunch of fucking sand. That's what they're a bunch of sand and fucking rock. That's what that there's nothing sacred about the Middle East, all right? I've been there. It's a fucking shithole. Continue.
America is prepared to stand with you in pursuit of shared interests and common security. But the nations of the Middle East cannot wait for American power to crush this enemy for them. The nations of the Middle East will have to decide what kind of future they want for themselves, for their country, and frankly, for their families and for their children.
Yeah, well, the people in power don't care about the future of the people. They only care about enriching themselves. Kind of like our government for the most part. And you're supposed to be getting actually, it's partly our fault. We were still voting for the. I mean, even though the majority Republicans got voted in, I mean, those people are basically the same thing as the Democrats. They're fucking establishment politicians. They get fucking paid by the multinational banks and corporations under the table. That's why they're all millionaires. They get most of their money from those sources, not the actual money they make from their fucking salary. So, yeah, I mean, the only way to get rid of the fucking problem is to get rid of these fuckers in power, really.
It's a choice between two futures, and it is a choice America cannot make for you. A better future is only possible if your nations drive out the terrorists and drive out the extremists. Drive them out. Drive them out
Now, well, saying it louder isn't gonna make them do it. Okay, it's not gonna help.
of your places of worship. Drive them out of your communities. Drive them out of your holy land. And drive them out of this earth. For our part, America is committed to adjusting our strategies to meet evolving threats and new facts. We will discard those strategies that have not worked and will apply new approaches informed by experience, talent, and judgment. We are adopting a principled realism rooted in common values, shared interests, and common sense. Our
Shared interests? What shared interests does the fucking Western world and the Islamic world have? Other than maybe money and wealth. I mean, that's probably the only thing I can think of right now. And most of the people that have power and wealth are the people in power, and the majority of people that don't have those things, are miserable, especially over there. Those people are fucking suffering over there because of their fucking rulers, man.
friends will never question our support, and our enemies will never doubt our determination. Our partnerships will advance security through stability, not through radical disruption. We will make decisions based on real-world outcomes, not inflexible ideology. We will be guided by the lessons of experience, not the confines of rigid thinking. And wherever possible,
Rigid thinking? Okay.
we will seek gradual reforms, not sudden intervention. We must seek partners, not perfection, and to make allies of all who share our goals. Above all, America seeks peace, not war. Muslim nations must be willing to take on the burden if we are going to defeat terrorism. And
Yeah, well, the problem is they're not probably going to be willing to do this. I don't see bringing all these people together in a room to lecture them about how they're not doing a good enough job to get rid of this shit is actually going to help. They're just going to go back to doing what they've always done. Nothing.
send its wicked ideology into oblivion. The first task
I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I'm very, very skeptical about this whole thing.
in this joint effort is for your nations to deny all territory to the foot soldiers of evil. Every country in the region has an absolute duty to ensure that terrorists find no sanctuary on their soil. Many are
Yes, and for that to happen, we need to stop going in there and destabilizing all these countries, don't we?
already making significant contributions to regional security. Jordanian pilots are crucial partners against ISIS in Syria and Iraq. Saudi Arabia and a regional coalition have taken strong action against Houthi militants in Yemen. The Lebanese army is hunting ISIS operatives who try to infiltrate their territory. Emirati troops are supporting our Afghan partners and supporting them strongly. In Mosul, American troops are supporting Kurds, Sunnis, and Shias fighting together for their homeland. Qatar, which hosts the U.S. Central Command, is a crucial strategic partner. Our long-standing partnership with Kuwait
Yeah, man, I even forgot about the whole fucking, they got factions within their own religion. They got the Sunnis, the Kurds, the fucking the Shiites. I mean, it's a fucking mess, man. It's a fucking mess over there.
And Bahrain continue to enhance security in the region. Our courageous Afghan soldiers are making tremendous sacrifices in the fight against the Taliban and others in the fight for their country. As we deny terrorist organization control of territory and populations, we must also strip them of their access to funds. We must cut off the financial channels that let ISIS sell oil, let extremists pay their fighters, and help terrorists smuggle their reinforcements. I am proud to announce that the nations here today will be signing an agreement to prevent the financing of terrorism, called the Terrorist Financing Targeting Center.
Okay, they're going to sign an agreement. So, what exactly does this agreement entail, and what happens if they don't hold up their end of the bargain? What happens then? Do we put sanctions on them? Do we go to war with them? Some clarification here would be nice.
Co-chaired by the United States and Saudi Arabia,
Oh,
and
man.
joined by every member of the Gulf Cooperation Council. It is another historic step in a day that will be long remembered. I also applaud
Maybe.
the Gulf Cooperation Council for blocking funders from using their countries as a financial base for terror, and for designating Hezbollah as a terrorist organization, which they certainly are, last year. Saudi Arabia also joined us this week in placing sanctions on one of the most senior leaders of Hezbollah. Of course, there is still much work to be done. That means honestly confronting the crisis of Islamic extremism and the Islamists.
And the Islamicists? You mean we're actually going to try to eradicate the religion? Okay, I'm down for that. Continue.
Islamic terror of all kinds. We must stop what they're doing to inspire, because they do nothing to inspire.
Well, which means you'd have to stop the religion completely, right? Because if you're teaching people that, you're going to go to some magical fucking utopia when they die and to kill other people that don't believe what you believe, to go there, then that's what needs to be eradicated, or at least reformed. I mean, they might as well just take every Quran and just fucking burn it and just rewrite them all or something. I don't know. I mean, because that's what would have to happen. But if that doesn't happen, the same shit is going to happen that's been happening for thousands of years, and nothing is going to change.
But kill. And we are having a very profound effect if you look at what's happened recently. And it means standing together against the murder of innocent Muslims, the oppression of women, the persecution of Jews, and the slaughter of Christians. Religious leaders must make this absolutely clear. Barbarism will deliver you no glory. Piety to evil will bring you no dignity.
So again, it goes back to what I'm saying about the Quran. They need to rewrite it.
If you choose the
Basically, might as well just throw it out.
path of terror, your life will be empty, your life will be brief, and your soul will be fully condemned.
Right. Empty threat right there.
And political leaders must speak out to affirm the same idea. Heroes don't kill innocents, they save them. Many nations here today have taken important steps to raise up that message. Saudi Arabia's vision for 2030 is an important and encouraging statement of tolerance, respect, empowering women, and economic development. The United Arab Emirates has also engaged in the battle for the hearts and souls, and with the United States launched a center to counter the online spread of hate. Bahrain, too, is working to undermine recruitment and radicalism. I also applaud Jordan, Turkey, and Lebanon for their role in hosting refugees. The surge of migrants and refugees living so poorly that they're forced to leave the Middle East depletes the human capital needed to build stable societies and economies. Instead of depriving,
And most importantly, it brings these people to other countries that don't fucking want them, which is bad. We don't fucking want your people over here
this region
or
of so
anywhere.
much human potential, Middle Eastern countries can give young people hope for a brighter future in their home nations and regions. That means promoting the aspirations and dreams of all citizens who seek a better life, including women, children, and the followers of all faiths.
Which again goes back to what I've been saying this entire video. They just need to ditch the fucking Quran
Numerous Arab
and the religion.
and Islamic scholars have eloquently argued that protecting equality strengthens Arab and Muslim communities.
It does.
For many centuries, the Middle East has been home to Christians, Muslims, and Jews living side by side. We must
Living side by side, killing each other, you mean, right?
practice tolerance and respect for each other once again and make this region a place
See, again, the Quran doesn't teach tolerance, though.
where every man and woman, no matter their faith or ethnicity, can enjoy a life of dignity and hope. In that
Ethnicity?
spirit, after concluding my visit in a fabulous place that we're at today, Riyadh, which I've gotten to know so well in so short a time, I will travel to Jerusalem and Bethlehem and then to the Vatican, visiting many of the holiest places in the three Abrahamic faiths.
Ugh. See, well, this is just crap, man. What are you saying right now? These places aren't holy, man. They aren't holy. It's just a bunch of crap.
If these three faiths can join together in cooperation, then peace in this world is possible, including peace between Israelis and Palestinians.
Pipe dream.
I will be meeting with both Israeli
Never
Prime
gonna
Minister
happen.
Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian President Abbas. Starving terrorists of their territory, of their funding, and the false allure of the craven ideology will be the basis for easily defeating them. But no discussion of stamping out this threat would be complete without mentioning the government that gives terrorists all three: safe harbor, financial backing, and the social standing needed for recruitment. It is a regime that is responsible for so much instability in that region. I am speaking, of course, of Iran. From Lebanon to Iraq to Yemen, Iran funds arms and trains terrorists, militias, and other extremist groups that spread destruction and chaos across the region.
And so does Saudi Arabia, too, right? At least that's what I keep hearing.
For decades, Iran has fueled the fires of sectarian conflict and terror. It is a government that speaks openly of mass murder, vowing the destruction of Israel, death to America, and ruin for many leaders and nations in this very room. Among Iran's most tragic and destabilizing interventions, you've seen it in Syria. Bolstered by Iran, Assad has committed unspeakable crimes, and the United States has taken firm action in response to the use of banned chemical weapons by the Assad regime.
See, I heard that that was bullshit. Maybe I'm wrong, but I heard reports that Assad might not have even been involved in that shit. So, I don't know. Either our intelligence is full of shit and our president just bought it hook, line, and sinker or something, man. But I don't know.
Launching 59
Sounds like propaganda to me.
missiles at the Syrian airbase from where that murderous attack originated. Responsible nations must work together to end the humanitarian crisis in Syria, eradicate ISIS, and restore stability to the region, and as quickly as possible.
Well, that's the key then, isn't it? Stability. Stability to house all these fucking crazies that want to believe that, women are cattle and, they're going to get like, whatever arbitrary number of virgins they're supposed to get when they die. So long as they're not in our countries, we can coexist, but they can't coexist with us. Sorry, not going to happen. Multiculturalism, like I said before, does not work. There's proof of it.
The Iranian
Just look at
regime's
Europe,
longest
man.
suffering victims
Look at Sweden.
are its own people. Iran has a rich history and culture, but the people of Iran have endured hardship and despair under their leaders' reckless pursuit of conflict and terror. Until the Iranian regime is willing to be a partner for peace, all nations of conscience must work together to isolate, deny it. Funding for terrorism cannot do it. And pray for the day when the Iranian people have the just and righteous government they so richly deserve. The decisions we make will affect countless lives. King Solomon, I thank you for the creation of this great moment in history and for your massive investments in America and its industries and its jobs. I also thank you for investing in the future of this part of the world. The fertile region, and it is so fertile, has all of the ingredients for extraordinary success. A rich history and culture, a young and vibrant people, a thriving spirit of enterprise. But you can only unlock this future if the citizens of the Middle East are freed from extremism, terror, and violence. We in this room are the leaders of our peoples. They look to us for answers and for action. And when we look back at their faces, behind every pair of eyes is a soul that yearns for justice and yearns for peace.
Yeah, well, I do admit there probably is a lot of people over there that act like they believe in that shit because, they don't want to be persecuted or they don't want to be killed. So they just act like they're believers, but when they don't really believe at all. So yeah, that I can kind of see. So I do agree with Trump what he's saying here
Today, billions of
in that
faces
regard.
are now looking at us, waiting for us to act on the great question of our time. Will we be indifferent in the presence of evil? Will we protect our citizens from its violent ideology? Will we let its venom spread through our societies? Will we
Again,
let
these
it
people don't
destroy
care,
the most
man. They're the
holy
ones in power.
sites on earth? If we do not confront this deadly terror, we know what the future will bring: more suffering, more death, and more despair. But if we act, if we leave this magnificent room unified and determined to do what it takes to destroy the terror that threatens the world, then there is no limit to the great future our citizens will have. The birthplace of civilization is waiting to begin a new renaissance. Just imagine what tomorrow could bring. Glorious wonders of science, art, medicine, and commerce to inspire mankind. Great cities built on the ruins of shattered towns. New jobs and industries that will lift up millions and millions of people. Parents who no longer worry for their children, their families, and who no longer mourn for their loved ones. And the faithful who finally worship without fear.
Yeah, whatever. Long story short, yeah, it's just a bunch of bullshit. I don't like this speech. I think it's just, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think these people give a shit about their own people. I don't think anything is going to change. I don't think them signing a fucking document saying that you need to do this is going to make them act any different. I really don't. But as long as we can get some kind of fucking stability to where we don't have all these refugees pouring in from their countries to ours, I'm cool with that. As long as that happens, fuck, trying to like live with these people. That's my main thing that I'm saying here because it doesn't work. I mean, if you have like maybe like a few immigrants that want to be Americans and you can somehow like prove or accurately determine that they actually want to be part of Western society and they want to assimilate, then fine, we can have immigrants from these countries. But otherwise, most of these people, they don't want to assimilate with Western culture. Especially the men. You think the men want to give up treating their women like cattle? That's the way they've been raised. That's the way they've been taught. They've been taught to believe this stuff, and then going to a place like Britain or something like that, where women have more rights. It's a culture shock for them. They don't know how to handle it. They think they can go up and just start raping women whenever the hell they want, and that's what they do. That's what they've been doing in Sweden. So yeah, if you want me to talk about more political stuff on my channel, give a like to this video or dislike, whichever one you want. And leave your comment. I mean, if you have any thoughts on this, and leave them. I don't care. I mean, have any opinion you want. Any opinion you want is open here. If you want to call me a old piece of shit, even though I'm not really that old, I'm 37, maybe older than most of you watching, maybe. But if you want to leave a like on this video, if you want to call me a piece of shit, whatever the hell you want. If you want me to talk about certain subjects, if you want me to trash SJWs, I'm more than willing to do that. If you want me to trash crazy Bible thumping evangelicals, I'm more than willing to do that too. Just leave it in the comments section. Anyways, have a good day, everybody. Bye bye.